welcome back to the channel. And welcome to the March Messy Hop with the Friends of LV Handcrafted. This is a group collaboration, but isn't sponsored in any way. And we did sort of change things up for this year, similar to some other hops like the Oso Inspired. We're using a shared community playlist. So basically, if you look at the description box, there's a playlist, and that'll give you access to everything that is in the hop. So let's take a look at messy techniques. And I thought I'd share one of the most straightforward and I think one of the easiest ones to pick up. And I did it two ways. The first thing I did was I grabbed this embossing folder, which is the Plaid Company, mostly because I'm participating in another hop that has crochet as a theme. So I thought crochet and plaid, and that's where I went with that. So two of these I've done with that, and two are just plain, just to sort of show you how the technique looks different on embossing or not. I've started really liking it on embossing, and this is can be an Amazon box or something else, but this is just to prevent splatter from getting all over my craft mat. So what you will do is you will just sort of lay out your panels. I think we can do all of these at once, which I think is sort of my preference. What we're going to do is use a spray on these to just sort of create sort of a fun background look. And you have a couple options. I've been really loving this purple from the Tim Holtz Halloween collection. It is a mica spray. So grab whatever spray you want to use. If you hear the ball shaking, it's when you have to shake up. This one does not. This is something tumbled glass, which is this is just a distress spray. Um, Essentially, your sprays that aren't mica are going to penetrate your cardstock and then are going to be more or less stable. They will, because they're dye inks, they will reactivate with water, but the mica stuff will stay more on the surface. And just to give you a visual, this is one that I sprayed. This is unembossed. And you can see the closer you get, the more of a like spot you get. And with the mica, I don't know if this is there, you can see it on camera now. Like with the mica, you're going to get sort of the actual shimmer much more strongly if you are using it. Um, what's the word I'm looking for? If you are using it in a more saturated way. So I'm going to go on the ones on the right here and just spritz a little bit. Let's just hit this one a lot, just so you can see. So when you start hitting these with this ray, this one I'll do a little less. Um, and it's okay if you get a little on some of these other panels; it'll blend fine. But as you can see, this one is really curling up. It will happen naturally because you're applying essentially a wet medium to one surface of the paper. So the paper fibers on that side are going to get a lot longer, and then the ones on the back are not. So, and you see this is kind of dripping off. Here we use so much spray. Bring this to the camera a little bit. That you're really going to get any excess is sort of dripping off. So we're really going to get a very um, saturated color on that one. And on this one, you can see it's bowing up less. So this one, we're going to have a lighter one. Um, then, of course, with the non-mica spray, we don't really have to worry as much. This is new, so I'm just pumping it a little. I think I'm close. There we go. So we're just going to do that one. And there we go. We'll do a little, stay light on the other one. As you can tell, this is a really messy technique. I definitely recommend a box. You may or may not want to do this with this type of a box. You can also do it with a much deeper box, or you can do it outside if you're one of those people who doesn't like too much mess. As you can see, we did pretty well. The other thing with this technique is I'm actually going to cut the video here and we'll be back in a minute, but you basically have to wait for these to fully dry. Something like this one that's more lightly misted is going to dry a lot more quickly. Heavily saturated one might take a while. I think it usually, pretty much everything I've ever done has been dry within a couple hours, but this is also the kind of thing that you can prep ahead of time. And this is a really neat thing that's happening. I don't know if you can, you can see it really well. So you're getting almost a sort of watercoloriness because the droplets are still sort of beaded up, but they're sort of running. And as you may have just seen it, the this top panel actually started to release. So we can see as the um, wet medium soaks in, it kind of allows these to even out. Sort of like watercolor, you could tape these if you wanted to, but you don't have to. We are back, and these are the four panels now that they're totally dried out. These are the two ones that we sprayed. You can see we got some really nice differentiation between the blue and the purple here. And it from a distance you can't really see the embossing, but up close it's definitely visible. Here this is really interesting actually. So here is one that's purple and embossed, but sprayed with a little bit of green as well. You can really see it kind of there. But this is the purple by itself, so you can see how much more vibrant it looks if you don't hit it with the green. You might wonder why green reduced the vibrancy, and it's mostly because of the yellow component of the green, basically neutraling out some of the purple. And then this is another one that we had left over. This one we used a lot more of the blue, and you can see that the blue and the purple kind of intermingled more here. Um, in spots like that. So got a whole bunch of different looks. And I think that's what's kind of neat about sprays. They're not entirely predictable, so you always get interesting things. And I think we'll use this one perhaps because I think this would be really a really neat one to put like a really sort of nice little poppy sentiment on. So I think that's what we're gonna do there. Let me just grab a couple things. We are back, and I grabbed my Think Happy Thoughts die. Forget what set this is from. I got about six of these that are all kind of a little off the beaten path sentiments. And then I grabbed this quite vibrant yellow because I think that'll look really cool against the purple. So I think that's the direction we'll go. And I don't know, I really like these mica sprays. Oh, something else I should mention. This is not protected right now, so if you had wet hands and get wetness on here, you are going to reactivate that spray. So if you really want it to be waterproof or if you want to use another wet technique, you can use a movable fixative basically to just the same product you use for pastels or a colored pencil basically you can use on here. And then we just need to flip this over and just sort of strategically place glue on it. We don't really need to glue everything. We just sort of need to glue enough pieces so that this will glue down successfully. And if you do have something that lifts up later, you can always kind of go back. But with these kind of lightweight die cuts, I rarely have to. This is also something where you can do the technique where you just layer a couple of these on top of each other. If like working with a single layer of cardstock is not a thing that you enjoy doing. I'm just carefully applying a little bit of glue. Of course, when we put this down, the little bit of glue is going to naturally sort of squeegee around. And depending on the glue you're using, this is a PVA glue called Lineco. Generally, the glues that dry matte, which is to say not shiny, and that's not great, but it happens. Um, so because of the thing I just mentioned, we want to be a little bit careful. So if you have I use baby wipes, so if I have a dried out one, I will just dab that. As you can see, we are pulling up some of well, actually it's hard to tell, but potentially you will pull up some of the purple. And then I'm just using this to dab down. Yeah, it doesn't look like too much is coming off, which is good. Um, I like the alcohol-free baby wipes pretty much for all crafty things, but they're very good here. And once this dries, you can always go back in if you need to. Yeah, actually, none of that color. That color was already on there. It wasn't new to our doing this. And I think this is pretty much where I'm gonna leave this card. I really like that it has sort of this nice I don't know, it's to me it has a very like arty vibe because of the spray. And here you can see just how it doesn't really read on camera all the time, but here you can see like just how shimmery this is. And we got some use out of our Astro Brights cardstock, and I really like how much this pops as compared to the background. So anyway, this is the messy card I have for you today. Um, Definitely check out all the rest of the cards in the playlist. And if you want to see me live, that happens on Sundays at 6 p.m. So feel free to drop by my channel whenever. And I shall talk to you guys later.